Hi, what's up? My name is Adam, and you are on Cyber Raccoon channel. Today I'm going to tell you about the best online medieval games. Watch the video to the end, subscribe our channel, and you will always be aware of what to play today. MORDHAU. Stunningly beautiful and realistic multiplayer slasher with knightly battles. You can create a unique fighter. MORDHAU has a huge amount of armor and weapons from different eras, and take part in exciting and brutal battles from a first-person perspective. Pleasantly pleased with the abundance of locations and modes, among which there are not only competitive, but also cooperative. Chivalry, medieval warfare. No other computer game is capable of capturing the spirit of knightly battles the way Chivalry, medieval warfare does. Epic and brutal, but at the same time easily mastered in a couple of games, the local carnage will surely ignite the flames of militancy and delight in the soul of any connoisseur of medieval online games. And a variety of classes, weapons, modes, and maps will keep you interested in the game for a long time. Life is Feudal, your own. Popular medieval open-world survival game featuring free building, terraforming, an extensive crafting system, and a dynamic combat system. Beautiful and realistic. Life is Feudal, your own will be equally interesting both for the game by the company. There's an opportunity to unite into clans, and for the player who prefers to fight the hardships of the virtual Middle Ages, and at the same time with other hostile users, in alone. For Honor. A competitive online game with a not entirely accurate Middle Ages, but with an innovative and rather interesting combat system, Art of Battle, which combines elements of a slasher and a fighting game, which ensured her a place in our top. And For Honor, 3 factions, Samurai, Vikings, and Knights, take part in battles, each of which offers its own unique warrior classes. All this, of course, is a complete anachronism, but in the heat of the battle you don't pay attention to it at all, enjoying fierce, tense, and spectacular fights. Reign of Kings. Medieval survival with RPG elements, offering, in principle, all the same opportunities as its other colleagues in the genre. In the center of the gameplay is the exploration of a large open world, collecting materials, crafting and building. All this is necessary in order to survive and defend against the malicious encroachments of other players. Epic clan battles and sieges are also featured in Reign of Kings. Wild Terra Online. A hardcore RPG sandbox created by Jufti Worlds inspired by the iconic old MMORPG Ultima Online. On the one hand, Wild Terra Online offers unpretentious graphics and an isometric view, which will allow you to run it without any problems even on the weakest PCs, and on the other hand, an extensive list of available entertainment typical for RPGs, quests, dungeons, fights, auctions, etc. further, and for survivals, crafting, building, and free exploration of the world. Gloria Victis. An MMORPG about the Middle Ages, with fantasy elements, offering a realistic combat system, a large open world, massive PvP, a classless character development system, as well as advanced crafting and construction that have become almost mandatory for such games. Stronghold Kingdoms. An exciting online game about the Middle Ages on the PC, related to the genre of strategy and city building simulator. At the center of the gameplay is the opportunity to rebuild your own kingdom and deal with all issues related to its existence, trade, taxation, diplomacy, demography, and, of course, waging war with other kingdoms that are dominated by other players. Stronghold Kingdoms is free to play. There is also a browser version of the game. The Black Death. A game about the Middle Ages in the genre of multiplayer survival, which focuses on such a terrible phenomenon of that time as the plague, also known as the Black Death. In the 14th century, this monstrous epidemic destroyed entire cities in Europe, exterminating hundreds of thousands of inhabitants in a matter of months. The Black Death gives players the opportunity to experience the full horror and scale of this terrible ailment, throwing them into the infected lands, where they will have to fight not only with the disease, but also with other threats. Kingdom Wars. Free multiplayer strategy in a fantasy medieval setting. In addition to the standard MORDHAU battles in real time against other players, Kingdom Wars offers the widest opportunities for building cities and castles, the ability to complete quests, engage in looting and other entertainment. The action takes place in a huge and colorful 3D world, where 3 unique factions are fighting. All existing settlements, player castles and available quests are displayed on the global map. If you're not looking for extremely realistic medieval strategy games, then Kingdom Wars should certainly appeal to you. March of Empires is a cross-platform MORDHAU from Gameloft, offering to take part in the war of 3 unique factions that are the personification of medieval ethnic cultures: Western European, Old Norse, and Middle Eastern. Users expect a lot of interesting gaming opportunities within the genre and a clear bias towards close social interaction, a system of global alliances and regional structures. Ancestors' Legacy, a realistic real-time strategy game that reconstructs the largest and most brutal battles of the Middle Ages, and also allows you to converge in an epic multiplayer battle. In Ancestors' Legacy, 4 factions are available with unique units and their own tactical features, which are critical to use to achieve victory. It is very important to take into account the peculiarities of the terrain where the battles take place, trying to drive the enemy into a disadvantageous position. The cinematic graphics, varied combat and movement animations, and the overall atmosphere in Ancestors' Legacy are great as well. Albion Online, a fantasy multiplayer sandbox that should appeal to all fans of medieval games. Still, the local world, open and full of all sorts of events and interesting activities, is not far from the historical setting. In addition, the sense of realism reinforces the clear emphasis on interaction between players, a completely controlled economic system, lack of classes, free PvP and advanced crafting. Much of what is present in Albion Online is created, built, or initiated by the players. Castles, settlements, large-scale wars for resources and territory, trade. All this is the result of player actions. Medieval Kingdom Wars, an exciting historical game that combines elements of global strategy and RTS, which can be played alone against AI, or through multiplayer against other users. There is also a cooperative mode for playing in alliance with other players. To be honest, visually the game does not meet the standards of 2019, but in terms of atmosphere and gameplay it bypasses many of its more beautiful competitors. Medieval Engineers, a construction simulator in the medieval world, which can be played alone or in a company with friends. You can build and create virtually anything in Medieval Engineers in accordance with real physical laws and technologies available in the Middle Ages: castles and fortresses, cathedrals and squares, even entire cities. You can also create all kinds of siege stationary and mobile weapons, primitive vehicles, and even work with the landscape. The world itself in Medieval Engineers is interactive and destructible. The power of any created mechanism can be tested on a natural or artificially created object. You can play either in sandbox mode or in survival mode. Conqueror's Blade. Lead a squad of brave warriors in this engrossing medieval tactical MMO and embark on bloody battles for control of the game world. In addition to the classic knights, archers, and spearmen, here you can play for exotic classes like the musketeer, landknecht, samurai, or assassin. The main PvP mode is epic castle sieges in a 15v15 format, where a small army of 100 people comes with each player. The spectacle and tactical variety of such battles is enhanced by the presence in the game of a huge variety of siege machines, from primitive ladders to mobile artillery. Mount and Blade 2, BANNERLORD. For 8 years, fans have been waiting for the sequel to one of the best games about the Middle Ages. As a result, she got to the screens of gamers, the idea remained intact, and the technical side and gameplay were noticeably improved. Also added multiplayer, users are invited to compete in a variety of network modes, small skirmishes, sieges, and so on. Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord is an RPG with strategy elements in which the gameplay is divided into two distinct parts. The first is the movement of the player and his army across the global map, and the second is the direct control of the hero in various situations, in battle, villages, cities, and so on. The goal of the game is to be a nameless warrior to rally strong warriors around you and conquer kingdoms. Shop Titans is a simulator of a medieval merchant who has to make items for sale and participate in battles with monsters. The player will open his own trade shop, which can be personalized, and will be engaged in the business of the merchant. And if the routine gets bored, he can go on adventures, having gathered a squad of heroes. There are 18 classes. There are elements of an MMO game in Shop Titans. Gamers can unite in guilds and live within the same city, work together, play at market prices. Simply put, the game can be played alone, but it's much more fun with other users. Plus, it's free. If your favorite game is not included in this list, write it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel, press like, turn on notifications, and you will always be aware of what to play today.